What we just witnessed was one of the best playoff games thus far. Mavs, Clippers, game 4 of a first round matchup of the Western Conference playoffs. This game had everything that you would want from a high level playoff game. You had first an incredible playoff atmosphere, so shout out to Dallas Mavericks fan base for that. A near 31-point comeback from the Dallas Mavericks and just insane level shot making and high level performances from Paul George, James Harden, Luka Doncic, and Kyrie Irving. This was a fun matchup. You even had some great chess matches in this battle from head coaches Jason Kidd and Tyronn Lue. So, with that being said, the series is now tied up 2-2. Who has the tactical edge heading into a pivotal Game 5? Let's dive into the film and break down this Game 4 and get a preview at what the rest of the series might look like. The Clippers seemingly could not miss in the first half. They go to this Chicago action eventually out of this angled ball screen. I have the name of the play on the screen. And after this pick and pop, you get Chicago action. And these are just the type of looks that the Clippers were hitting all first half. Norman Powell hit a couple of threes in the first quarter. The Clippers are absolutely dialing up, and there's nothing Dallas could do to stop them in the first half. Paul George, when he's rolling, is one of the best tough shot makers in the NBA. Josh Green is guarding him all the way beyond past half court, and this is really good defense. But Paul George is able to create enough separation, has a full hand in his face, fading away, and he is saying it doesn't matter. There's nothing Josh Green can do here. In the early goings of this game, Luka couldn't get anything going. Watch how the Clippers guard this Luka ball screen here. You have all 5 Clipper defenders inside the three-point line, really packing it in and showing aggressive help on this Luka drive. It forces Luka to have to settle for a really tough fadeaway jumper that, yeah, he can hit, but this is just a really tough shot for a stalling Dallas offense, now trailing by 23. James Harden's aggressiveness in this game really was the difference maker for the Clippers, especially with no Kawhi Leonard. Watch here as James Harden gets a switch on Luka Doncic, is able to drive at Luka and get into his patent step back move. This is virtually unstoppable for the Mavericks, especially with Luka, who is unable to guard here, dealing with 2 fouls. Now, looking at James Harden's efficiency here in the playoffs, he is shooting 55.6% on pull-up three-point shooters, which leads the NBA in the playoffs. And when you look at James Harden's scoring possessions out of ball screens this postseason thus far, he is the second most efficient ball screen scorer in the NBA, just behind Damian Lillard. This type of aggressiveness and efficiency is exactly what the Clippers need in the absence of Kawhi Leonard. Then, to put it quite simply, Kyrie Irving kind of just happened. There was no shot Kyrie could have hit from the second quarter on in this game. Here he hits a pull-up 3 in transition that ignites the Mavericks crowd and the Mavs comeback. Now the Clippers are starting to deny Luka Doncic here in early offense, which the Mavs in turn go to their 5-out spacing and an empty side ball screen for Kyrie Irving. The Clippers hedge on this ball screen, which leads Derek Lively to be able to get a Euro step layup over James Harden at the rim to cut the lead down to 18. Then early in the third quarter, the Clippers are blitzing this ball screen way out beyond the three-point line. Daniel Gafford makes a great pass to Derrick Jones Jr., who attacks the closeout and gets the big-time dunk, and now the Mavericks are alive in this game. Now with their lead cut down to 10, the Clippers go to a fun set for Paul George. But the Mavericks are so heavily not trying to give the Clippers a switch here that it really puts Kyrie Irving in a tough bind. Josh Green is pressing all the way up on Paul George here, forcing the drive to his left hand. Like I said, this puts Kyrie Irving in a really tough situation because he is guarding the strong side corner with Terrence Mann there. If he helps off, that leads to a Terrence Mann wide open 3. If he stays, that gives Paul George the wide open drive to the rim, which would force Daniel Gafford to step up, and Zubac could get a wide open dunk since he's in the dunker spot. So this is a really tough situation for the Mavs to be in. And what happens? Kyrie does help off the strong side corner because Josh Green gets beat predictably, and it leads to a Terrence Mann wide open 3. This is an adjustment I would like to see from head coach Jason Kidd heading into Game 5. You have to find a better way than this to resolve your problem with the Luka hunting defensively. One of my favorite things about Luka's game is his pace that he plays without the ball screens, his ability to slow you down and manipulate a defense. Luka slows down right around the time he gets to the nail, which forces Paul George to commit just for a second longer and frees open this pass out to the corner of Derrick Jones Jr. It's a very short close by Paul George, which ultimately gives Derrick Jones Jr. the open three. This is what makes Luka Doncic a top 5 player in the league and one of the best offensive engines in the league, quite frankly. His ability to manipulate defenses and get his teammates wide open looks. However, in the fourth quarter, down the stretch especially, it was the James Harden show, making floater after floater and killing anybody in his way in one-on-one isolation. The Clippers go to this ghost screen action to try to get an advantage downhill for Paul George, but Harden just starts to go at Luka one-on-one. Luka plays Ole defense, not trying to commit another foul as he was in big-time foul trouble this game, and Harden just blows right by him and gets the easy layup to put the Clippers back up by 2. This is my favorite possession to break down from this game, and I'll explain why. Off this kick-out pass from Paul George in transition, watch who Luka Doncic is guarding here. He starts off this possession by guarding Terrence Mann in the corner. Now, what the Clippers are going to do is they're going to go into Operation Switch Hunt mode. They want to get Luka Doncic involved in an on-ball possession with James Harden. What the Mavericks do a really good job of doing here is pre-switching. A pre-switch is where you switch in action before the on-ball screen occurs. So Luka and Maxi Kleber communicate this. Terrence Mann goes up to set the screen, which was Luka's man originally, but Luka and Maxi Kleber pre-switch this, so now Maxi Kleber is now guarding Terrence Mann, and if you go into a ball screen, you could just switch that and keep Luka out of the action. This is a diagram I had using the Lakers and the Nuggets matchup. You have X4 and X3 pre-switch the ball screen beforehand. That way we can use X4 in the ball screen and not X3. Now going back to this possession, that's fun by the Mavericks to keep Luka out of the possession, but for the love of God, can the Mavericks stop giving Harden and Paul George so much space to operate on drives? There is no need to press up on Paul George and James Harden to this extent and force them to be drivers where you're enabling their ability to be great pass out guys. Also, Luka Doncic is guarding one pass away and helping off of Paul George, so he would have been wide open here. Just really bad process in my opinion from the Mavericks, something they definitely need to clean up heading into Game 5. Kyrie Irving is truly one of the most gifted scorers in NBA history. How in the world is he able to get this? The level of difficulty on this shot from Kyrie Irving is something that only very few NBA players in history have been able to pull off. Great shot to put the Mavericks up by 1. Incredible set here by head coach Tyronn Lue. So the Clippers go to this dummy flex action, and Paul George comes over, acts like he's going to set the flex screen for Ivica Zubac. It's on a clear side to the floor. So with Paul George sealing his man now, James Harden is going to make a perfect pass that Paul George just unfortunately is unable to handle out to his outside hand. If Paul George cleanly fields this pass, that is a wide open layup and you're actually at risk to commit a foul. Now this is really good defense. Paul George is going to put up a ridiculous shot from nearly behind the backboard. A big time shot by Paul George to put the Clippers back up here. But once again, it was James Harden here down the stretch. The Mavericks do a much better job at not allowing the Luka Doncic switch. But again, pressing way too up on James Harden, forcing him to drive. And he once again gets to the floater. He shot way too many high quality floaters in this fourth quarter because the Mavericks were just giving him space to drive, and ultimately the Mavericks still don't have a bunch of great on-ball perimeter defenders. Derrick Jones Jr. was occupied with Paul George, so this is just not good process by the Mavs. This has been an incredibly fun series here thus far, tied up 2-2. I think what this series is going to come down to is, when does Luka Doncic really start to get going? I mean, he's been good. He had a 29-point triple-double in Game 4. But I just don't think we really had that Luka game where he really is one of the most unguardable players in the world. We haven't had that game yet. How much effective is James Harden going to be going forward? Can he continue to have these types of performances? I think that's also going to potentially decide this series. Schematically wise, I really, really want Dallas to make a change to how they guard James Harden. I think they, like I talked about in the video, I thought they were giving him way, way too much space on some of these drives, especially in the fourth quarter. I thought Dallas was actually a little too – I don't think they offered enough resistance on Harden pick and rolls and kind of allowed him to switch on Luka Doncic a little bit more than I would have been more like to see. Curious to see if the Mavericks go to some more showing and recovering, hedging, stuff like that with Luka to limit switches being able to happen. But this has been a fun series. My pick going into the series was Mavs in 7. I'm going to stick with that for now. I still feel really, really confident about the Mavs. I think, again, Luka being the best player, Kawhi status being in the air, but Paul George and James Harden shooting the lights out like that is going to keep the Clippers in this series. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much here for tuning in to this film breakdown and breaking down Game 4 of this Mavs and Clippers series. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe here to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on X at Sean_DABI. And until next time, everybody, see ya, stay safe, and peace out.